Welcome to one of the most important little videos you'll ever watch on the Teeter Totter. The Teeter Totter basically describes the relationship of a bond's price and yield and maturity, ultimately. The fabulous thing about this is you've all pretty familiar with the Teeter Totter. I mean, you began your studies in kindergarten, though you didn't know you were actually preparing for a life in finance and economics. So you've got the Teeter Totter. Well known, much loved little creation. It has two sides which move, just like a bond. These would be the price and the yield. It's got one thing in the middle that does not move. That's the coupon. That doesn't change for the life of the bond. It's fixed. So let's say we've got a $1,000 bond with a 10% yield. That gives us $100 in coupon payments per year. Now, actually, the coupon payments, the compounding period of a bond is semi-annual. But for simplicity's sake, we're just going to look at it on an annual basis. So instead of the actual $50 every 6 months coupon, we're going to assume a $100 once a year coupon for simplicity's sake. Now, if you buy this bond and some time passes and interest rates rise to 15%, well, nobody is going to pay you $1,000 for a $100 a year coupon or a 10% yield when they can get 15% on other bonds. So what has to happen in order to make this coupon look like 15%? The price of the bond has to drop as the yield rises in order to make the coupon look like a 15% yield, in order to give the investor a market yield. In the same manner, if interest rates drop to say 5%, what happens to the price of the bond? Well, it goes up, again, making the $100 coupon look like a 5% yield. Now, another dimension to the teeter-totter is the length of the teeter-totter. The longer the length, the more volatility or movement you have in the price with respect to yield. If you've got a short teeter-totter, like a T-bill, you have very little movement. Just like on the playground, you wanted the long teeter-totter so you could bounce and swing and get some height. Well, that volatility is consistent with the maturity, time to maturity of a bond. Now, you'll use this teeter-totter throughout your finance or economic career. Suppose, for example, somebody's talking about interest rates increase. Well, what do you think would happen with correspondingly with the price of the bond? Well, if rates are increasing, then bond prices are falling. Okay, so if you're a portfolio manager and you expect rates to increase, you have some risk in loss of value of your portfolio. On the other hand, if there's a lot of demand for bonds in a particular sector and the bond prices are increasing, well, what happens to the yield? Obviously, the yield is going to drop. Okay? And this is true with all what we call vanilla bonds or straight bonds. Vanilla or straight bonds. These are just fixed income, no change in coupon. There are some bonds that do have adjustable rate coupons, but we'll look at those a little later. So you'll use the teeter-totter throughout in order to try to understand or estimate the change in bond price or yield based on a change in the other. And if you're working a problem and you know interest rates are dropping, then you could kind of check your answer by looking and making sure your price is higher. So that's the teeter-totter. Memorize it, understand it, love it. You'll use it for life.